Hello everyone, this is Crystal. I am here to do a live video on the beautiful autumn bundle. Let's see. There we go. So, I hope everyone is having a great afternoon. So this is the beautiful autumn bundle. It is a photopolymer stamp set. It's similar to the stamp set we use for the Simply Citrus card kit. It has 20 stamps. It's a combination of images here. We have some sentiments, and we have some two-step stamping, which I will discuss in a minute. And we have maple leaf. This is the outline with the veins, and then the inside have the acorn, and you can actually do the acorn top and the body different colors, which would be, it's a nice little addition. I guess that's wheat, I'm not sure. A pine cone, and then the inside, and then the oak leaf, and then the inside. Some other greenery. I haven't used these two yet, or these, or these, but I have used some of the sentiments. I've done a few autumn projects so far. So once again, there are 20 stamps in this set. So whenever I have extras, also with the stamp set, you can buy the stamp set, and then there's also these punches. I bought the bundle, which means I bought the punches and the stamp set, and I got a 20%, excuse me, I keep saying 20, a 10% discount. So here's the oak leaf, here's the maple leaf, and here's the acorn. So I will go over, I did a few test stamps so that we can go over it together about how to use this bundle. So it's a lot of fun, especially if you like autumn. I know for some people, autumn is their favorite season, so they may get a lot of use out of the projects here. So the stamp set, these are my extras from previous projects. I'll go over those in a minute. But here are the stamps. These are backwards. Okay. Here are the stamps. They're a little stained, but they still work. I used some ink that had some red dye in them, so it stained the stamp, but the stamp still works perfectly. So we're going to work with these today. These are some of my extra projects from previously, and some other. I always just make extras because I'm not always sure what I'm going to do when I start out with a project. So I just stamp, punch, die cut, you know, just emboss, do whatever. So these are just some extra pieces I had from some previous projects. I made a few cards for the fall, some birthdays, just some general thank you cards that were an autumn theme. So, and I keep them in a snack bag, just so that they don't get damaged. Like this is Cajun Craze. This is Cinnamon Cider, the paper color, cardstock color. That's Bumblebee. This is Pumpkin Pie. And I stamped it with the Memento Black ink because since the paper was colored, I didn't want to fill it in. I haven't used that feature too much. And there's no punch for the pine cone, so I just cut around it. This one's not all that great, but I just cut around it because I wanted to use pine cones in my project. So that's that. So I'm going to first start with showing you the two-step stamping. So you can, I didn't do two-step stamping on these examples because I use colored paper. But if you have white cardstock, that would be a good time to do two-step stamping to get an idea about how you want your elements to look for embellishment. So I stamped out, just for example purposes today, I did the maple leaf, the oak leaf, and the acorn. So with these, I didn't color these in yet, but I wanted you to see how I would do it, and I'll show you how the punches work also. So I just take some scrap paper. This is how I work for any project. Take some scrap paper, stamp out a bunch of things, see what direction I'm going to go in. So we're going to start with the maple leaf. I already did a few of them already. Like, they're all stamped in early espresso. The body of the leaf with the veins. So for this one, I did the inside with soft suede. This is soft suede, but as you can see, that's still a little too dark. You can't see the veins here. And then I did second generation stamping, which means I stamped here, and then I stamped here, but I didn't re-ink the stamp. So that's what second generation means, or you can, sometimes people call it stamping off. So this is from the stamp pad here, and then I went here without re-inking. So that's a little better. That's soft suede, so that wasn't too bad. And then for this one, I used crumb cake. I stamped here, then I did that, and that was not too bad. And then that's second generation crumb cake. So I like to play around with it to also see what look I'm going for with my project. So for today's project, we're going to do, I'll do crumb cake, first generation crumb cake. So we put the soft suede, I'll put that back. And then, well, I'll stamp out a few more of these just so you can see the difference. So, this is the body of the maple leaf. It has all the veins you can see. And for the second step of coloring in, that's just a solid photopolymer stamp. There's no design on it. So the idea here is to line this up over this image once you stamp there first. So I've already, as you see, I've already stamped the leaves with the veins. And this is the look I like with the crumb cake, first generation crumb cake. So I'm going to put this on a stamping block. I'm using the C block right now since this is a small stamp. Put it on the block. Then this is how you open the stamps. You have a stamp pads. There's a little notch here. So I push this up, flip this back, and slide it. Put it to my side, and then I just stamp. I usually do about 5 times. Check, make sure it's inked up. I don't know if you can see that. Just make sure it's inked up well, and then line it up. Hold it, lift it. I didn't line it up that great. I can't get directly over it right now. I'll try it again from this angle, and that's a little better. Hold it. Oops. So and then okay, that's better. So I would go through all of these. I'm going to just do a few more. And then I'll do some oak leaves just to give you, just so you can see how things will look. One, and I'll do one more. So I would go through all of these. You know what? There's only 4 left, so why not? Okay. Trying to get the angle. Normally I would be directly over it, but then the paper would be out of the frame, so you wouldn't be able to see me stamping, but I'm trying to get it over here perfectly. There we go, that's good. Stamp, and all right. So I will put these aside. I do all of my stamping first. I keep this is my chamois. I keep it in an old stamp case. Rub it, and it's clean. Let it dry off for a minute. Then we'll do the oak leaves. I have another C pad here, C block, excuse me. And we will, this is the oak leaf. Just put it on here. Ink it up. And this foam mat came with my Stamparatus. Stamparatus is a stamp positioning tool. I bought an advanced pad because, as you see, this does not have grid lines. So I wanted to be able to position my paper perfectly. So I took this out. It's nice, good thickness, because when you're using photopolymer stamps, it's good to have this mat underneath so you can get a good impression with your stamping. So here is the oak leaf. Okay, I'm doing better with the oak leaf than I did with the maple leaf. So, tap, place it straight down, hold it, lift straight up. So this is a quick process. I like to make extras because sometimes I might be pressed for time and I may need a card in a hurry, or I may need just some project. I'll show you, we have 2 projects I'm going to show you today after I show you how to use the punches. And done. So we're done with the oak leaves. Put those to the side. And then I move on to the acorns. I think for the acorns, I'm just going to do the tops. I'm not going to do the body. Because I like how I'll show you. I like how the body has that image there. So grab another C block and acorn top. Haven't used that before, so. And we're gonna stick with the color we're using, the crumb cake. Still using crumb cake. And we'll go through these. So that's how the top of the acorn looks. So I stamp, ink it up, put it straight down, hold it, hold the paper, lift straight up. Put it down, hold the paper, lift straight up. I'm getting the hang of it. I see where I need to. and line it up. Then. So the good thing about the Whisper White cardstock is that it has great ink absorption. So you should get good impressions whenever you stamp on the Whisper White. And this ink actually dries pretty quickly. So you don't have to worry about making a mess once you go from one image to the next. All right, so we are all done with that. So in order to close the stamp pad, you pull it. I usually push this side on the left, pull it, flip it, and then make sure it snaps. Because if it doesn't snap, then air can still get in and you can dry out your stamp pad. And then just clean this. Oops. Clean that, let it dry. So we have, the bundle includes these 3 stamps, 3 punches. So since I just finished with the acorn, I'm going to start with the acorn. This is the top of the punch. This is the bottom of the punch. So this is the lock so it can stay flat. So I just pull it towards me and release, and now the punch is open. So I just slip my paper in and line it up. I usually squeeze it a little bit and then turn it over so it doesn't pop out. I've lost a few of my embellishments that way, just letting it, because otherwise if I keep it like this and I squeeze, it pops up and you have to search for it. So put it in, squeeze it a little bit, turn it over, then I do that. So then I'll have all these acorns for any project, any fall project that I'm going to do. So I see someone is watching. Say hi so I can know who you are. Didn't turn that over fast enough. Squeeze, squeeze some more. So this is a good technique to do when if you have a lot of a project to make. If you need to do some mass production, just do it in order. Stamping, then cutting. So we're done with the acorns. So we just squeeze it shut, lock it, and it will stay closed like that. Next is the oak leaf. Same process. Flip it over, unlock it, then turn it. So whenever you're stamping and you know you have a punch, it's good to punch towards the bottom of the paper so that the paper can slide into the punch easily. This one. I usually got these little containers from the dollar store, Dollar Tree. And sometimes I can have a lot going on. So just to keep it organized, put my embellishments in there. And one thing to consider, like if you're doing stamping and your stamping doesn't come out perfectly, you could layer something else on top of it and just have the side peeking out. That is good stamping. So nothing will go to waste. But ideally, when you stamp an image, it should be directly under your face so you can look over. But if I do that, then my head will block the camera. So I had to just make it work. So some of these, I'm actually pretty surprised they came out so well, considering I couldn't be directly over the paper. All right, and so we have that. Save the paper because I could use this middle part for something else. So I'm done with this punch. Close it, lock it, and I put it to the side. And finally, we have our maple leaf punch. Unlock it, flip it, and then just start punching. So the good thing about punches, another good thing about punches, if you don't have to have perfect placement on your paper, as long as your paper is near the bottom edge, then your paper can slide into the punch and you don't have to worry about perfect distance wherever you are going to place your punched embellishment. Almost done with this. I'm gonna skip that one. That one's a little too bad. Skip those. So I'm gonna keep this one. All right, so we're done with that. So I'm not keeping those, so I'm just going to take these and trash. So close my back up and set it to the side. So I shared a picture earlier of the card that I made using this bundle. So thank you card. Got a few layers going on. This is the inside. My heart is grateful for you. I may stamp, I use cinnamon cider. I use this color. I may stamp a leaf on it before we're done here. So just to tell you the pieces, we're going to put one together. We have the card base, which is, I've already stamped this one. This is 5.5 by 8.5 and it's scored at 4 1/4. There's the score line. So I like my cards to flip up that way. So most of the cards I do flip up this way. And then we have a layer that goes on top. This is cinnamon cider cardstock. It coordinates with the ink here. This is 4 by 5 1/4, so it's slightly smaller, and this is how it would go on top. I use the hammered metal embossing folder. This is the folder. It's it's a pretty thick folder. This is the side that makes the impression. I put the paper in like this, ran it through, and this is how it looked when it came out. It's called the hammered metal embossing folder. So this is going to go on here. I'm actually going to put this to the side. Just as I'm talking about it, just put it together. So this is my tape glider. I need to get some more tape. I use a lot of this. So when I'm doing cardstock, I do all 4 sides, just roll it, and since I have cardstock, I do one of the diagonals also, just and it's embossed just to make sure it will stay. And then hold it, try to center it, and lay it and smooth it out. So got the basics done. And then I have a sentiment here. I use thank you. I use that, and I stamped it in black, the Memento Tuxedo black ink. So this is on Whisper White cardstock. This is 2.5 by 2, 2.5 by 2. And this is 3 by 2.5. So that my border here is, it's 1/2 inch total, but it's 1/4 inch on each side. So I wanted some more of the bumblebee to show, just because some of the elements I use bumblebee. So once again, I would just tape this to this. I just did 3 little lines here. And the point is to get it centered on the base layer to have good. All right. And I use dimensionals to place the sentiment layer onto the card. So here's some sentiments. I got this, I think, in a kit, because when you buy dimensionals in a pack, they come. The sheet is a little bigger, so I think I got this in a kit, or maybe even a paper pumpkin. I subscribe to paper pumpkin. So for this, I usually put a dimensional in each corner, and then one in the middle, just so it doesn't sag. Place them on. And just peel these off. And then I decided to do the lower left, so just always check, okay, this is, thank you. And there's no right or wrong way to place your sentiment. It just depends on where you want to put it. So the basic of the card is done. And then I just took some of my embellishments in the different colors, the leaves and the acorn and the pine cone. And I use many glue dots for these. This is how it comes on a roll like this. And let's see. And so this is a mini glue dot right here. So I take my element. In this case, I'll use the pine cone, and I just place it on there, and I just press it a little bit to make sure that the pine cone adheres to the glue dot. Pick it up, and then I put the pine cone onto the card. It gives just a little bit of dimension, not as much as a dimensional. So if you're using these and you're going to mail your card, you should be fine with the glue dots. The dimensionals are always something I try to just be mindful of. Here's my acorn, mini glue dot, post it, squeeze it, and then pick it up. The key is to squeeze your element onto the glue dot so that you don't tear your paper trying to get the glue dot off of the roll here. This is my orange maple leaf. Squeeze. Okay. Let's place it down. This color is Cajun Craze. It's a nice fall color. Squeeze. Place it down. I have another orange. Squeeze. Once you squeeze it, it comes up easily. I struggled with these glue dots when I first bought them because I wasn't squeezing them enough. I would just place it there and think that I could just pull it off, but just squeeze it a little bit and you're good to go. And this protects your glue dot from the air until they're ready to be used. So squeeze. And then my final maple leaf right there. So nice quick card. Like once you do all your stamping and cutting or punching in advance, you can knock out a card really quickly. And I already stamped the sentiment, but I am going to stamp. I'm going to stamp a cinnamon cider maple leaf inside. So this is how I design on the fly. So technically this is done, but I want to add to it. So just my C block. This is not dry yet. I'll put that there. Cinnamon cider, push, flip, move, and then just ink this up. And okay, so just wanted that in there. So whenever I mail these or give them out, I will probably stamp this maple leaf on my envelope. So 2 quick cards. Thank you. I personally can't have too many thank you cards. So that's a nice quick project. I'll go over the card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. The cinnamon cider layer, cinnamon cider cardstock, is 4 by 5 1/4. The bumblebee piece is 3 by 2 1/2. And then the white piece is 2 1/2 by 2. And then there's a punch that Stampin' Up sells. It's called the corner trio punch, and that's how I got these rounded corners. And then the cinnamon cider layer went through the hammered metal embossing folder. But you can do this project without embossing, and you can do it without having rounded corners. You can do this project with the bundle, the stamps, and the punches. You don't need the embossing folder. I just wanted to jazz it up a little bit. And inside says, "My heart is grateful for you," and cinnamon cider. And there's my maple leaf. So I am actually going to do the envelopes now, you know. So this is a A2 envelope. Stampin' Up sells these 40 in the pack for $7.50, and they're whisper white, so they match the whisper white cardstock. So I'll do my envelope. I usually do lower left, and then on the flap I just do the left side. So they're ready to go together. So if I need to say thank you to someone in the fall, I'll probably use these cards. Lower left, flip, so that is our first project. So I made this card this morning. I showed the picture. And so I got the thank you card My heart is grateful for you. I just did these envelopes on the fly. Need an envelope, so put it together. I store them together, so that's why I decided to. And the same thing, identical cards and identical envelopes. So that is our first project. So while I was making the first project, I said, you know, Thanksgiving's coming. Some of us may have a party at our home. Some of us may just keep it with close family. So this thought came to me to make, if you're having company, or maybe if it's just going to be a few people, you can make place cards quickly. This Whisper White cardstock is 1/4 of a letter size paper. A letter size paper is 8.5 by 11. So you can get 4 of these from one letter size cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 5.5. And then I just scored it in half. So this is 2 1/8. 2 1/8, 2 1/8 is 4 1/4. So I had some designer series paper that was scraps from when I made the Hershey Nuggets treats. This is a scrap from that. I keep everything. So I just cut it down to, this might be a 1/2 inch, and just adhered it here. Here's my maple leaf again. This is early espresso, and this is pumpkin pie. Those are the colors I use to, and I just wrote my name just so I can see how much space I write big, so you can get somebody's name here quickly. So, so here's what I used. 1/4 of a piece of cardstock. So if you have 20 people coming to dinner and you want to do a little place card, simple place card, then you only need 5 sheets of cardstock, because you can get 4 of these from one letter size cardstock. And you can also do it this way, but you have less space to write. So I like to do it the long way. So just fold it in half. Take my bone folder. And then you just decorate it however you want. I'll probably do, early espresso. I'll do the same thing, and then I'll just write my husband's name on there. So, early espresso. And the pumpkin pie. Since pumpkin pie is a lighter color, I need to clean my stamp, since I'm going from dark to light. Because you don't want to get, dark ink inside of a lighter color stamping block. So, pumpkin pie. So I'm not going to go search for some scrap DSP, but you get the idea. See how quick that was? And take my Sharpie and write the name. So you can always, this is thin enough that it can still go through a printer if you wanted it to. And then I would just put some DSP here if I find some scraps. But I just wanted you to see how quick and easy it is to make place cards if you want to. And you can decorate them anyway, like these that we made today. That can go somewhere. That could go there. But there are a lot of possibilities for these projects. So place card holders and our cards. So thank you for watching, If you have any questions about any of the projects I did today, or if you have any questions about the products I used in these projects, or the colors or punches or anything, feel free to let me know. I appreciate you watching, and I will, hello Patricia, I see Patricia's watching. Thank you for watching. And make sure you ask me any questions you may have, and I'll see you next Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great day.